Hello, dear students. Today we are going to learn lesson 4 from the book Behive, which is A Truly Beautiful Mind. A Truly Beautiful Mind is about Albert Einstein. A Truly Beautiful Mind, the story recounts the life of an amazing, outstanding scientific personality, Albert Einstein, from his birth till his death. His married life was not successful, but he won Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921. His stories totally changed our understanding of time and space. He was known as visionary and world citizen as much as scientific genius. Talking about the early life of Albert Einstein, he was born to German parents on 14 March 1879. When he was born, his mother thought that he was an abnormal child as his head was too large and he speak with a lot of difficulty when he was only 2.5 years old. He loved to play with mechanical toys and preferred to be alone. And students or his fellows children called him brother boring, somebody who is boring, not interesting. Even his headmaster once told that he will not be successful in his life in whatever he takes part. His mother made him to learn violin and after at the age of 6 and later he became violin professionalist. Talking about his education, when Einstein parents shifted to Milan, they allowed him to continue his studies in Munich, but at the age of 15 he left. He felt uneasy with the strictness there. Albert Einstein was outstanding or he was an extraordinary in mathematics and physics. So he continued his studies at a university in Zurich. There he met his wife Milaiva, his girl Serbian, who was a Serbian girl. She was also an intellectual woman, and he had two sons with her. Despite having two sons, their marriage was not a happy marriage, so they got divorced in 1919. Albert Einstein published his special theory of relativity in 1905, according to which time and distance are not absolute, time and distance are not independent. He derived the world's famous formula describing the relationship between mass and energy, which is E is equal to mc square. So he described the relationship between mass and energy, which is E is equal to mc square. As I mentioned, he published a very special theory, the theory of relativity, which became very popular. In 1915, he published his general theory of relativity. The solar eclipse of the sun proved his theory are correct as correct. He became popular as his work was considered scientific revolution. For this he got the prize and many other achievements. For many other achievements, he won Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921. Nazis were a member of the National Socialist Party, which controlled Germany from 1933 to 1945. So, students, I have mentioned about Nazis because when Nazis came to the power in Germany, Einstein immigrated or moved to USA. The world scientists came to know that Germany had developed nuclear fission. They became afraid that Nazis could build and use an atomic bomb, and so Einstein was persuaded to write to from one of his colleagues an open letter to the president of Germany, of the USA, to Roosevelt, that this development could cause large-scale destruction. So when Nazis came to Germany, Albert Einstein moved to USA, and when the Germany had developed nuclear fission, the people became very afraid of that bomb, as he could bring a lot of destruction in the country. So he wrote an open letter to the President Roosevelt, so the large scale destruction could be stopped. This made Americans to develop an atomic bomb and use it against Japan near the end of Second World War. So this made, when Nazis came, they controlled the entire country and made nuclear fission. So this also made the USA to produce atomic bomb just to save themselves. And as you all have heard about nuclear, the bomb which was dropped in Japan in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which brought a lot of destruction in Japan. Einstein was very much shocked by the extent of destruction caused by the bomb and wrote an open letter to US nations to stop the arms built up by forming world government. He continued, so because of this, Einstein started campaigning for peace and democracy, and he fought for peace and democracy, and democracy during the next 10 years. He fought for peace and democracy for 10 years till his death 1955. He was known and celebrated as visionary and world citizen as much as scientific genius. So students, Einstein was deeply shaken by the destruction caused by the atomic bomb which was dropped in Japan in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That time he wrote a public missive. He wrote open letter to the United Nations. In it, he proposed the formation of a world government, not like the letter which he wrote to Roosevelt. That letter did not made any impact on which he wanted to achieve. But over the next decade, Einstein got more into politics, and his popularity for campaigning for peace and democracy was done till his death. When Einstein died in 1955 at the age of 76, he was celebrated as a outstanding scientific personality, and as I mentioned before, he won prestigious award, the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1921. So, student, despite many hardships and Albert Einstein was very much successful in his career. So, you can say an ordinary person can become an extraordinary.